Now, I didn't even know that Shelby Church had a sister that was also getting to the bag. Do y'all know who Shelby Church is? Shelby Church is a girl or a woman. She's a good white woman, so I'm definitely going to hold her down. She's a woman that is a content creator, has over 1 point something million, 1.8 million subscribers or something like that. Creates content. We broke down how much she make and what her budget is, and I also used her as a reference point inside of the Patreon in order to compare and contrast exactly what my bags are from the content creation and what her bags are. My bags are significantly more because I showed the receipts. So shout out to the Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure you get your Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I want to share with you, or I want to review and break down, I think her name is Monica Church. Monica Church is living on $500,000 a year, and I want to compare and contrast so that we can make sure that we're making the best decisions possible by using other people as examples or reactions to how it is that we need to be doing things more effectively. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Shout out to Monica on Millennial Money. They look the exact same too. In Seattle? Nah, I'm leaving Seattle.
I'm a little bit embarrassed by my finances sometimes. I feel like I don't have it all under control. This will be my 4th year of averaging $500,000 a year.
The Porsche, 4th year, $500,000 a year. That means she a high, what do y'all call them? High value women? I didn't even know if there was a such thing as a high value woman, but that's what she is. She is a high value white woman, and y'all know I love my white women.
I've never had a budget, and every time
28 years old.
I log into my bank account, I feel anxious. I know that's something I need to do a little bit better of a job at. I'm Monica Church, and you're watching Millennial Money.
So based off of what it is that you've seen so far, let me ask y'all a question. Would you guys give Monica Church, this good white woman that makes over $500,000 a year, drive a Porsche, is incredibly comfortable, and for all purposes, she seems to be pretty fit. Would you fellas give Monica an opportunity, or would you stay down for the cause and on code with Tykesha, who let her son walk around with rubber bands on a gun, 17-year-old son with the extended clip? Just curious. Keep that in mind as we review this video.
I have 3 streams of income: my YouTube channel, my real estate agent business, and a new endeavor for me is coaching. I average about $250,000 a year on YouTube now, and about $250,000 as a real estate agent.
So, for all of the bag chasers, for everybody that's a part of the Patreon, that was a part of my webinars. Actually, it's one of the most recent ones where I broke down my back end and I showed y'all the exact amount of money that I get deposited only from 2 channels alone. It has nothing to do with all of the other things that I'm associated with, the channels, the sponsorships, anything outside of it. Those were all separate videos, separate webinars, right? Just from 2 channels alone. She says she makes $250,000, which is incredibly good. She does incredibly well. She says she makes $250,000 a year, okay? And one thing I know about this, because I actually know people that has been on this show, shout out to my dog from Philly. I ain't even going to say your name because I coach you. They go through when they look at your bank statements and they look at different things to actually justify and know that you actually doing and telling the truth of what it is that you make, right? So she makes $250,000 a year as a real estate agent and $250,000 a year as a content creator on YouTube. Now that probably is also including sponsorships and deals and all of that other type of stuff. That just doesn't include AdSense. What do you think now? What are your thoughts, bag chasers, based off of what you see her saying and what you see me showing as the receipts? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
$1,000 as a real estate agent. The median price point I work with is right around $800,000, but I'll really help anyone at any price point. My typical commission check could be anywhere from $10,000 if I'm splitting it with another agent, up to my highest commission check was $36,000. I just started coaching and my first month I made $10,000.
I'm in the wrong business. That's what I get. That's what I get for offering my services for cheap. Because y'all don't value it. I got Denia Jackson out here charging $7,000 for a session. And Monica Church is over here. Women is killing the game. That's why they out earning us, because we make ourselves available to the community and they don't appreciate it. Monica over here just started her first coaching business and she making $10,000 a month. Okay, Monica, get that bag then. She's increasing her income.
My time probably would be better spent just focusing in on one career, but I am passionate about many things and I really like having the multiple streams of income. Expenses are at least...
All right, so let's look at this. Travel, $1,200 a month. Wine? White women love wine. They love wine. $400 a month. Personal care, $200. Pets, she got a cat or a dog, $200 a month. Transportation, $800 a month. Food, $1,100 a month. $500 a month for Airbnbs. And then $2,500 a month in housing. Here's the key though. It's a strong possibility that the majority of transportation, a lot of food, definitely Airbnb, a lot of this stuff is actually probably, and travel, especially since she's a content creator, all of that stuff is written off as a business expense. Now, I don't know why she would have this in her personal expenses, but all of that stuff is written off as a business expense. Now, when you start to break it down and you say, okay, well, $8,200 a month is what it is that she spends per month on average, then that would mean that she spends the equivalent of about $96,000, $97,000 a year. Mental math, $97,000 a year in expenses, but she makes $500,000 a year in income. $97,000 a year in expenses, $500,000 in income. So you can have this lifestyle. I don't have any problem with her budget because she's been able to sustain how much she's making and she's increasing it after over 4 years. You can have this type of lifestyle when you make over $500,000 a year and you're probably still making the smart investments long term. Congratulations.
Around $8,000 a month. My biggest expense is my mortgage. My mortgage is $3,800 a month, but I've never actually paid that full $3,800. When I first moved in, I actually had roommates in 2 bedrooms. So one paid $1,150 a month and one paid $1,000 a month.
So she got roommates. That means that she's still frugal and that she's not spending as much as she can spend just based off of her income. She's spending as much needed in order to make herself comfortable.
Paid the difference. Now I live here with my boyfriend. He pays me $1,500 in rent and I pay...
I wonder if he a white man or a black man. But he paying her $1,500 a month in rent.
The $2,300 in difference. The average rule for how much you should spend on rent or a mortgage is 30% of your income. I don't spend anywhere near that. That is changing though, because I am in contract on a house with my boyfriend in Palm Springs, California. The mortgage on that...
Very, very bad move. Very, very bad move. Very rarely do you see people that make a lot of income that is supposedly financially literate making bad decisions like this. There's no reason for her to go into contract on a house, buying a house with her boyfriend that she is not married to. If you are not married, you are single, never go into contract with somebody that you are not married to on a house. And this is one of the reasons why I tell y'all all the time, the person that you lay next to every day is the biggest financial decision that you're ever gonna make in your entire life. Why would you buy a house with somebody that you are not married to? Just buy it on your own. You make enough money in order to be able to do so. Why are you buying a house with a person that you're still calling your boyfriend? Cart before the horse.
Home is going to be $6,100 a month. In total, I'm going to have close to $10,000 in mortgages. It will be split with one other person, so I will be accounting for $5,000 a month in mortgages.
Well, so much for that idea of her not increasing the amount of money that she's spending based off of how much money that she makes, because she just went and got a $10,000 a month home expense, and I'm sure that's including taxes and property taxes and insurance and all of that other type of stuff. Possibly even throwing potential maintenance in there. But she just basically went and bought her a $10,000 a month home, which is the equivalent of $120,000 a year, right after she said 30% of her income. Rule of thumb, you actually want to make it 30% of your take home, not your income.
I'm going to live in Seattle for 6 months of the year and California for 6 months of the year. I know so many people work all of their lives to be able to do this whole snowbird thing, live wherever they want, and I realize how privileged
That's the Airbnb that her and her sister got, I think.
and fortunate that I am to do this at 28 years old, and I pinch myself every day, and it's not something that I take for granted. I do also own a home in Palm Springs with my sister Shelby. It's an Airbnb and we use it as an investment property. It doesn't quite break even, and on average I pay $500 a month for it.
They love to wear them pro kids and stuff, though. They ain't gonna spend no money on their shoes. That's one thing about them black women. They gonna get them Christian Louboutins, and it ain't just black women. It's a certain demographic of women that they love them Christian Loubs, they love them Gucci's, they love them Balenciagas, all of that. They gonna get it. But white women like her, they like a little dirt on their Converse, on their pro kids, on their Skechers. Yeah, they get it.
I don't really spend that much money on clothes and makeup. Once a quarter, basically the change of seasons, I'll feel the need to get some new clothes to refresh my wardrobe, and I'll spend on average $1,500 on this shopping trip. This is pretty much all I wear, is a mix of this pant with this style of shirt. I like to think I'm pretty low maintenance with self-care. This accounts for makeup, hairstyling products, getting my hair done, which I do about twice a year. I used to get my eyelashes done, but I gave that up a couple of years ago. I don't get my nails done, and my eyebrows I get threaded for $12 about every 2 months. And that's pretty much it.
They don't spend a lot of money on themselves. They do everything themselves, and they just be chilling. Like, take me as I am. Take me as I am. They be doing just like that. My chick is at the hairdresser right now, getting her hair done. Right now, she's out getting her hair done. Right now.
My health insurance is $13 a month. It is a catastrophic plan, so if something horrible happened to me, I would have to pay $16,000 out of pocket, and then the rest would be covered. I do have enough money in an emergency fund where if something did happen, I would be okay and it wouldn't be a huge hit to my finances. Between me and my boyfriend, we have 3 dogs, but I'm financially responsible for 2 of them. People are so quick to get
There, she is in a partnership. She's straight up in a partnership. And listen, my neighbor have a dog, and every time that little fucker shits, it smells like it's sick. I don't know what she feed it, but I'm like, it's no way that I would ever get a puppy or a dog, let alone 2 or 3. Is there a way higher maintenance and way less enjoyable than children? I just can't understand why people get dogs. I can't do it.
Get a pet but not really think about how much that's gonna cost them. My dogs cost me on average probably about $150 to $200 a month. The biggest expense is their grooming. This costs on average $125. Other expenses with my dog would include treats, some toys, and food. You should always also have an emergency fund for your pet. I'm pretty sure every pet that I've grown up with,
Nope, I'm not doing it.
there's always been some expensive vet trip. I spend about $150 a month on subscriptions. My main subscriptions are actually business expenses. Storyblocks.com is probably my most expensive subscription. This is $70 a month and it is stock footage. Even just 1 clip a month that
I do also spend a decent amount of money on stock footage. I spend. That's just a part of the game. You know, you got to have a stock footage subscription. I use Adobe personally, Adobe stock photos. So it'll get you like the videos, it'll get you the photos and stuff like that. But once you get to a certain level and you're putting out so much content on a regular basis, that is a business expense, but that's a part of her subscription coverage. So what she's doing is combining personal expenses with business expenses just to show how it is that she spends her money. See, what we do inside of the Bag Chaser, shout out to the Patreon members, is we separate the business expenses from the personal expenses because it's accounted for much differently. So I can't use that as a part of my budget because I don't use my money in order to pay off debt. I just use it all based off of business expenses.
Saves me time is worth it to pay the $70 a month. I really try to not do paid subscription models because sometimes I do them and I forget about them. I absolutely hate them. Unfortunately, I went through my finances recently and found I was paying $5,000 a year in subscriptions, and a lot of them were things that I didn't know about and forgot about. It's so hard to track these all down that what I did was I actually called and I reported my credit card as lost so that all of the subscriptions would cancel and I would have a clean slate, because it was honestly just so overwhelming to figure out. I'm a little bit embarrassed by my finances sometimes. I feel like I don't have it all under control. I've never had a budget, and every time I log into my bank account, I feel anxious. I know that's something I need to do a little bit better of a job at.
How do you not have a formal budget? I won't even coach you if by the second time that I talk to you, I can't actually break down both your time and your budget. If by the second time that I talk to you, you don't actually have a formal budget and you're just operating off the whim, you can't even really be a proper business owner because you don't know what you projected to spend in taxes or to pay in taxes because you don't know where you at throughout the year as far as how much money you need to allocate towards buying more assets or investments. It's just crazy. I don't know how you can be a business owner but not have multiple formal budgets. That's wild.
On average, I spend probably $1,300 a month on food. I think me and my boyfriend go out once a week for a nice meal. We'll split a bottle of wine, we'll get appetizers, we'll do the whole thing. The bill comes out.
Let me see what he looked like. Yeah, that's him with them bubble coats. White people love to have matching bubble coats.
Out once a week for a nice meal. We'll split a bottle of wine, we'll get appetizers, we'll do the whole thing, and the bill comes out to be like $200 every time.
They go Dutch. What I'm starting to find with most of these women, white women, Asian women, shout out to that other Asian chick that was the ice cream lady that we reviewed her. All of their expenses are split. I'm curious, how do y'all feel about, maybe I'll do a whole show on the difference between a partner and a husband and wife. Because I'm curious as to how y'all feel about the idea of going Dutch or splitting things down the middle or doing 50-50 or being in a partnership versus being in an actual marriage.
It's not that I don't like to cook, but I just don't like the time that it takes to cook. A small collection of wine. I have wine subscriptions to some wineries where the bottles cost on average $50. I don't drink that every day, but I do have a collection of my nice wines. Yes, I can absolutely taste the difference between a good bottle and a bad bottle.
But I guess she worked for it, so she can do whatever she want to do.
My favorite hobby would be golf. If you like to golf, it deserves its own category in your budget because golfing is expensive. This adds up really quickly. One round of golf can easily cost you $100. I really don't golf much when I'm in Seattle, but when I'm in the desert, I like to golf at least once or twice a week. 2 years ago, I bought my dream car. It is a Porsche Macan GTS. It has red leather seats.
Very nice car. Very, very nice car. I like the Porsche Macan. We actually had one as a loaner vehicle because I had to take my car to Taycan in for maintenance. And so we had it as a loaner vehicle for like 3 days. The new Porsche Macan is very nice. I love it. Nice, 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 nice.
It cost me $70,000. I put $25,000 down on it. So I have
I don't understand why they don't just buy the car. Or as a matter of fact, let me tell you what she should have done. She should have her a personal vehicle that's already paid for. And then if I was her, I would actually buy a business vehicle, a separate business vehicle that I would actually use for business, and then had that in my business name and dealt with it accordingly. She needs some financial literacy. A lot of these people are smart. A lot of them make a lot of money. A lot of them can afford their lifestyle, but a lot of them leave a whole lot of money on the table because they just not moving smart. They're not being wise with how it is that they're taking care of business. But
a monthly payment of $655 on that car, and insurance is $159.
You can get all of that junk written off if you know what you're doing. The insurance, the maintenance, the mileage, all of that. If you know what you're doing, you can get all of that junk wrote off, and then she would have a lower tax bill. But tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
Loved having that car, but I'm actually going to sell it soon because I have an Airstream trailer and I need to buy something that can pull it. In 2020, I bought a vintage Airstream trailer that me and my dad started renovating. I'm now having it professionally renovated in Texas.
Yeah, so much for passion projects.
The renovation's gonna cost about $110,000, of which I've paid in $75,000. This isn't my smartest purchase in the world, and it definitely
Bad idea. Never spend money on something that does not make money for you, especially spending that amount, or does not retain its value. A. B, that I can't write off from a business perspective. C, is not an asset. Or D, is literally a money pit. Because who wants to work to have to go on vacation and then live in an Airstream? Fuck that. Y'all can have that.
definitely is kind of a money pit, but I am really excited for it, and I do think I can recoup some of the cost of this trailer. To make all my money back from the renovation, I would have to rent it out 150 times. I make a lot of money, but I do spend a lot of money. The most expensive thing I bought recently that I don't think was worth it was a Sleep Number mattress. It was $6,000 and I tried it out and didn't like it, so I actually ended up returning it. One expensive thing that I did buy recently that was completely worth it was my first class flight from Atlanta to Cape Town. That was $6,000 and it was...
That's not a first class flight, baby. That's Delta One. That's not a first class flight. When you have the layback flat and you sleeping and she spent $6 bands, trust me, that's Delta One. That's not a that's not a $6,000 first class flight. That is a Delta One flight. It's a difference. It's Delta One, then it's first class, then it's Delta Comfort, then it's business, okay? Or a main cabin. Just keeping y'all in the loop.
So well worth it. A smaller purchase that I don't find to be worth it is Amazon Prime. I know everyone loves it, but I don't really like ordering things online. A little purchase that was really worth it to me was my daily planner. I do a lot of things in a day and
she shouldn't be using a planner, she should be using a calendar. Your Google Calendar is a much more effective tool to allow for you to actually be a lot more successful than a daily planner. As a matter of fact, I'll show you mine. I'll just give you a quick overview of it, of how it is that I run my day on a daily basis. Actually, it's not even managed by me, but I got everything color coded to where I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, when I'm supposed to be doing it, how much time I have in between certain things. As a matter of fact, I have to add a flight onto this thing, and I might even have to move a phone call. But yeah, a calendar is much more effective than a planner because you can do everything reoccurring, and then you can have reminders set up on it and all of that. But maybe she just liked the novelty of it. That is stupid. Doing that right there is stupid.
my mind is going a mile a minute. This planner starts every day asking me what I'm grateful for. That has been so grounding for me because I definitely do think I used to get caught up in wanting more and more and more financially. You could make $1 million and okay, the next year you want to make $2 million. Nothing's ever gonna feel enough. A lot of people know
Y'all need to start utilizing technology instead of just leaning into doing stuff because of the novelty of it. Lean into the technology. Let it work for you. It can make your life so much easier and simple.
Twin sister Shelby that makes YouTube videos, and you might have seen she last year made double what I made. A question that I get asked a lot is, am I jealous of her? Sure, I was a bit jealous for a little while, but honestly, I have everything in life that I could possibly want. It's
Cap. That's all cap. Let me tell you something. It's a big difference between $500,000 and $1 million, especially when you understand how to really make it work for you and to prevent yourself from overpaying in taxes when you don't have to. It's a huge difference. The lifestyle difference is, listen, when she says something that was good was a first class ticket, that's my norm. That's my norm. Like, honestly, I was feeling really uncomfortable in first class the other day, and I even did a vlog where I was like, yo, is it time for us to start thinking about the possibility of renting jets, depending on where it is that we fly within the country? Because I need my rest. I need to really, really value my time a lot more than I'm valuing it. But it's cap. When somebody says that, it's cap. It's always another level. Or maybe I'm just overly ambitious. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong on that. But I always want to go to the next level. Why drive the Porsche when you can get a Lambo Revelto, which is the replacement for the Aventador? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different.
kind of hard to be jealous when I am so fortunate myself.
But to her credit, she's only 28 years old. She's doing really well. I'm pretty sure that she's going to be super successful. The one thing that she didn't talk about is her investments. That's what I'm curious about. But maybe she doesn't have any real investments that she could justify for her to continue to live the way that she's living. And you know, that's a bad do. But very good video. We learned a lot. She's not perfect. I'm not perfect. I think that I'm a lot more wise with how I understand things from a business perspective, but life is good.